TV here, coming at you again with another video. Today, I have a nice carry hero for the Immortal way. The hero has been kind of wrecking havoc really in the higher pro scene. And it is none over, mate. I can't speak today, but it is Spectre nonetheless. And he, it, the thing, whatever it is incredibly good now. I mean, it was really strong before the 7.27 A patch with the Helm of Dom, but now it's still really strong because you go like this drums build, and I think honestly it's probably the strongest carry hero in the patch right now. Probably him and Ursa are probably the two strongest right now. So without further ado, guys, let's jump into it and figure out how we play Spectre. Let's go. So guys, this is the game, and before we go any further, I'm going to move my mini-map because, this is a high production value screen show video PogChamp. There we go. So, yeah, so this is the game. Like I said, I think right now, I think like Ursa, Spectre, AM probably the top three carries in the patch right now. Ursa was banned, and I actually tried to pick Anti-Mage, but the other carry picked it as well, so my default was the Spectre. So to start off with item build, I'm playing against Slardar Rubik, so I'm expected to get right-clicked a lot, plus obviously the Slardar bash from Slardar is physical, so Ring of Protection is quite nice. It's something that I saw Burning do a lot actually on his anti-mage. I think in general now, like Wraith Bands are, if we look at Wraith Bands in general, they're actually a lot weaker than what they used to be before 7.27. So because of that, like I think a lot of people, a lot of pros are looking for build-up items. Like I said, normally you want to have those 3 build-up items before you start building something big because it just fills the inventory nicely. And pros are looking for alternatives to the usual Wraith Band kind of build-up, and just kind of a starting Ring of Protection is just really nice. It's quite cheap, and it works out quite well really overall, so that's what I started with. We ended up getting kind of tri-laned for the rune. We ended up giving away first blood, but I didn't die, so it's all good. No one cares about our measly position 5. No, I'm only joking, guys. I care about position 5s as well, but yeah, not as much as myself. So, yeah, so starting for this, obviously I can bring out more regen. I ended up buying a salve, I think, and gave it to the Disruptor before he came back into lane with the bounty runes, just because I know I'm going to get harassed quite a lot in this lane. So this lane is kind of a little bit rough, really, because I can't really trade with the Slardar. Oh, and just a heads up as well, like I play a far from perfect game. I make a lot of mistakes, but I think it's important that I show you like my mistakes, because then you can learn from them as well. So yeah, like, I mean, that's really annoying. That missed the last hit 'cause got bashed by Slardar. I was like, oh, rough. Anyway, so yeah, so I can't really trade too much with the Slardar because of his bash, and I can kind of harass the Rubik with the Disruptor. But for the most part, my kind of focus this lane is just to try and get as many last hits as possible. So yeah, I'm just going to be doing a lot of aggro pulling and stuff and letting Slardar get the farm, whatever he wants really, and just trying to help my Disruptor have his one-on-one battle with the Rubik by using Dagger to sort of CS and harass the Rubik at the same time, really. But yeah, I'm not expecting too much in this lane. I think there will come a time as well when I want to leave the lane, because when Slardar hits 6, really, I don't really want to be in this lane. It's going to be just too dangerous for me. So I have the choice of either whether to eventually jungle or to rotate bot, but Lifestealer is bot as well, so it's not really the greatest place for me to be because I can't really stay in that lane too much either. So like in this case, it's a nice scenario here where, because of all my daggers have been on the Rubik and Disruptor's been harassing the Rubik, we see an opportunity to kill the Rubik there. And I'm right-clicking the Slardar in that scenario because I know that there is creeps for him to take over there. So if he just stands me hitting me, then he's missing out creeps there. Plus I have the Disruptor with me as well. So that's the rare occasion I kind of man up on the Slardar. Right-clicking him there. But yeah, so it's a nice kind of setup kill on the Rubik. Kind of gives us a little bit of kind of relieved of pressure. Disruptor should be going back to pull, but I think he misses it, so I'm having to dagger the range creep. He gets the range creep for us, actually, so it's not too bad. It's something. Obviously, I can't walk up to the creep wave because I'm just going to end up dying because it's really far away from my tower. That's why we want the lane pulled back. But we get the range creep pulled, so the lane is eventually going to be pulling. I end up buying one Wraith Band. This was my mistake here. I've said already from the start of this lane, I can't trade with the Slardar, particularly at level 3 because it's 2 points in bash. For some reason, I hit him a few times and I take so much damage. Plus, he has an Orb of Venom as well, which really kind of caught me off guard. I didn't even see that, and as a result, I feed. So kind of a bad start, really. I was doing alright in terms of CS, but I just kind of got just kind of mind blanks basically, and as a result, kind of paid with my life. So, like I said, if I was a bit more disciplined in this lane, really, I'd be focusing really just getting last hits. Kind of, if the lane is up, just kind of try and dagger for CS and wait for my disruptor to pull, because I am in risk of kind of dying here. So I'm just trying to aggro pull creeps. My disruptor pulls some creeps on the hard cam as well, and that's kind of what we need as much as we can, really, because of the fact that of what the lane is. So in this scenario here, I feel like obviously I either have to help my disruptor here and I have to go on the Rubik because Slardar is too tanky. But I see an opportunity to kind of get CS, and I know that they're going to miss quite a bit creep wave there as well because that's running into their tower. So even though they kill the disruptor, like, the thing is that either I have to kill the Rubik whilst this engagement happens, otherwise they're going to turn on me and kill me because he has Orb of Venom and Boots now as well. And it would have been close. He had Boots, I didn't. He had Stick and 240 HP as well. So, and I only had 1 point in Spectre Dagger because before I died, I had very low mana, so I wanted to maximise having 2 points of Dispersion. Normally you just max out Spectral Dagger and max out Dispersion, but in the small scenario where I didn't have mana, I might as well be using something that I could actually use for my skills. So Disruptor dies there. Like, it's not the worst case. They ended up missing 3 CS edge to the tower, so even though they're kind of winning this lane per se, the Slardar isn't that far ahead on me in terms of CS here. So also at this point as well, we're kind of trying to tell the Tusk to rotate top. Because we can actually threaten the Slardar. I think the strength of Slardar as an offlaner is that in the regular 2v2 matchups against a melee carry, he can do really well. But against tri-lanes, he really suffers because he can't jungle, and because he's melee himself and all the damage he dishes out, he has to be in kind of the thick of it. If he's against a tri-lane, he ends up just feeding. So we're trying to get our Tusk to rotate top, because I think they're not doing too great bottom anyway. And Wind Ranger doesn't feel too threatened against a Lifestealer CM, so we try and get him to rotate back here. So I'm just manning up on the Slardar. Like, I'm manning up on the Slardar in this case because Slardar's low, so if he does catch onto the Disruptor, easy enough to kind of catch him off guard, really. I bought a Wraith Band. Like I talked about how they're actually kind of nerfed, and they are really. But in this scenario, I'm needing to do one of two things really. First of all, I need kind of the stats to kind of be able to CS, because Slardar has 75 base damage. And even though I have a Quelling Blade, I need a bit more stats. Plus, I'm eventually might needing to hit jungle creep, so the attack speed does pay off decently. But like normally you'd buy 2 Wraith Bands, but because of the kind of the nerf, they're just not as strong as before because they give less stats than previously, as you can kind of see there. And also the armor is useful in this lane as well. Obviously, the reason why I bought a Ring of Protection is the same reason why I'd buy a Wraith Band in this kind of physical presence. Like right now I have 9 armor, which is quite a lot actually. So I'm kind of manning up here because I'm expecting my Tusk to TP, but he TP's like really late. He does TP, but if he TP's early there, I think we can just kind of turn. Plus, if he TP'd away from vision because it's night time, we could probably set up kills. He has shards and stuff, but I have a Sow anyway, so we're able to do some stuff. It's kind of a decent shard block here. And I end up getting the dagger off, and I try and dodge the stun, but luckily Pop's here to rotate and we kill both anyway, and they don't need me for that kill, so I'm just going to go back to farming. So really, in an ideal scenario, in a lane you don't really want to be past level 6, either you want to get level 6 and kind of rotate bottom for a kill. But Lifestealer is one of those carries where it's very difficult to kind of to set up kills on him. He kind of protects his safe lane quite well. But luckily we're doing alright, like that rotation from Tusk and another rotation as well. I'm able to sort of stay in this lane a lot longer than I would need to be. And these kind of kills on Slardar are really big actually, because like I said, like he relies on sort of sitting in lane and being dominating force in the lane. So if you can kind of abuse and exploit that fact of a Slardar, that is really, really good. So, and this is where playing carry is really important to understand like the offlaner's perspective as well, because his ideal game will affect my ideal game and what I want to do as well. So it's important to understand from a carry's perspective what the offlaner wants to do. So there's a lot of rotation from the Radiant here. They end up sending lots of TPs and stuff. So I'm happy just to, I mean, right now, like if this was an easier carry to box out, or that wouldn't pressure me as much, I would just TP bottom, because I know that the CM just TP top. But as I mentioned before, like Lifestealer, it actually fares quite well against Spectre. In this early game, because I can't pressure him and he can pressure me, so I'm kind of forced to sort of stay in this lane. And if my team like the Tusk is rotating mid, I'm going to be forced to, as our that mid rotation was seconds away and kind of very close to being really big, but we ended up kind of feeding and throwing. So I end up pulling for myself here, something that's really important to realise as a carry. Like if your supports are out rotating and trying to set up kills elsewhere on the map, that you kind of get the lane in a position that gives you safety basically. And now Slardar 6, this is where like my lane and my game is a bit kind of threatened, and my mid buys back. So this is where like I'm kind of forced, where it's like, well, I can't be top, and bot is quite bad for me. But the fact of the matter is that although this lane is bad, and you'll see here like what the Lifestealer can kind of do, plus he's 2 levels above me as well, which doesn't help obviously. But from a carry perspective, this is what you kind of want to be doing. Particularly, it's like if this Lifestealer wants to be pushing this wave in, so then he can maximise his farm by farming these 2 camps here. And I'm kind of banking on that to happen, because once he pushes this lane in, wave in, then I can kind of just CS on the tower, or try to, you know. So in that respect, it's nice. But as you can see, like Lifestealer is able to just tank the tower and harass me, and this is why it's just not kind of a great scenario for me. But I have kind of supports rotating bot. So I'm just going to man up on the Lifestealer a little bit. I'm afraid of the kind of the infest, but we get a rotation from Quab as well, and it ends up all right for us. So, and this is where I want to be playing. It's not an ideal scenario, but me being in this position here is actually what allows this gank to sort of set up and happen. Obviously, I think Lifestealer got a bit aggressive there when he didn't need to, but this happens because I'm kind of where I need to be, even though it's not an ideal scenario, because I'm playing against a Lifestealer. And this works twofold as well. So not only is it because I am able to farm, but also it puts pressure on the Slardar, because now what they can do, my team, is they can run a tri-lane top. And again, we've talked about how, you know, Slardar does suffer in a tri-lane, and you'll see here in scenarios like this, you know, he ends up just feeding kind of thing. So even though it's not, you know, ideal for my game, I'm having to hit Ancients as like a level 9 Spectre without Desolate, which is kind of sad. You know, it is what it is basically. And again, Lifestealer's going to be pushing the wave in. I can farm this off lane here, so it's not too bad for me for the most part. So yeah, ideally, obviously, you want to have a point in Desolate. Really, would be great. And probably, if in hindsight, if I knew I was going to be jungling and doing this, I probably would get 1 less point in dispersion. But the 4-0-4 build is really nice, because just, you know, you have a lot of sustainability in lane. But I'm no longer really laning normally now, so I actually get a point in Desolate before I get my level 10 talent, because it will help out. But like I said, this is all what's happening, because I'm playing bot by myself. My team's able to play top and really pressure this Slardar right now. Like if you look at this Slardar is, you know, he was crushing me really in lane, but he's died twice now, and it gives my off laner something to do as well. Like this Wind Ranger has a javelin, you know, can threaten people in the safe lane, not so much as it is in the off lane really. So it works out really well, you know, for me playing bottom basically. So in terms of item build here, so normally before the 7.27a patch, Helmet Dominator on Spectre was just so broken basically. But they nerfed it, and so because of it now, drums is kind of the next best thing. It synergizes nicely for a few reasons as we kind of try and set something up here on the life stealer. A little bit more difficult, really, just because this is the strength of really Lifestealer playing his safe lane. It's hard to kill him. He has Infest, he has the Rage thing as well. I Spectre ulti here in a kind of an attempt to... really, if I was a bit more paying attention, I could have actually got a free trip top. And this is kind of what I wanted to do, because if I can get the enemy team to rotate heavily bottom, which they are doing, everyone's sipping bot, obviously besides the Broodmother, then I can go back top with no real threat of anything bad really happening to me. So I go top, and then I leave my team to do whatever they want to do bottom, which for the most part I think is feed. But it is what it is. But yeah, so as for the drums, it's just really nice. So the movement speed is really nice for farming, but also it's nice to keep on top of people. As a Spectre, particularly before you get level 15, it's hard to stick on top of people because the slow from the Spectral Dagger is actually quite short for the most part, so you end up kind of not being able to stick on people. But it's also really nice as well because when you halt into like a team fight and use drums, your illusions will get the active charge as well. So it's an overall nice item, plus you need the mana regen as well. So overall it's a really nice item. It's a good item this patch anyway, but it fits really nicely for the Slardar here. So they have a ward here. I man up on a Slardar because there's no way I'm getting out, and I end up trading 1-for-1 with the Slardar, which actually works out quite well for me. And I ping the ward because that's the only way Slardar would walk up, and Lifestealer would walk into no vision if he didn't have a ward. So is what it is. But again, that's a rotation from the Lifestealer, and so now when I revive, I could TP bottom, but at the same time I don't really know. Like Rubik was still showing bottom, and Slardar's here as well. So I end up TPing bottom just because there's a lot of farm. Plus, it's, you know, even if we don't pressure the tower, I have the ancient stuff to fall back on. I kind of want my Tusk really to be bottom now. Instead, he's hitting neutrals because that's, you know, that's what people do. That's position 4s, gather. But yeah, I'm kind of playing bot. Like Slardar's really low. I'm trying to get a dagger on him, but he's out of vision, so I can't dagger onto him, like click on the hero without vision, which would mean there's a possibility for it to miss. I'm kind of, as you can see on the minimap here, I'm like drawing my like Tusk, why are you not bottom? Why is my Wind Ranger hitting neutrals? Like, this is just like overall really bad play basically. I can't be top, and I don't necessarily want to be either. They set up kill on me, and you know, if it's my Tusk is bottom and my Wind Ranger's there, then we can fight. But you know, it is what it is. It's one of those things really where that, like, I mean, it's bad for me to be there somewhat, but if my team's playing in the right position, I'm in a good position really to be. And my TP was on cooldown as well, really. So, but I think that was all set up really from the fact that they had, well, they had division there actually, but they was ended up being dewarded. But yeah, so just kind of a small blunder really. So I'm obviously saving up for my Radiance, and this is kind of the items you kind of want. Like normally, like I said, you want to have like 3 build-up items, like Ring of Protection. I don't have Haunt unfortunately because I used it before I died, which probably was a bad thing of me actually using it just before I died. But I thought I could maybe escape with it. So I can't really do anything about this fight. Don't really want to be mid. Don't want to be in that fight. I can't really walk to it. I need to just focus on my Radiance. So yeah, so you want to have those kind of 3 build-up items, but the good thing about Spectre is that you can kind of almost have 4 build-up items because you have this big luxury item in Radiance that has a terrible build-up, so you get a lot of value out of actually having all your slots filled basically before I buy the Sacred Relic. And right now I'm just kind of playing a bit passive really. I could be playing bot, but my team has shown that they're not really willing to play bot with me. Like, this is the problem really of having, and I've talked about it in so many of my videos before, about when you lose your safe lane tier 1 tower, but the enemy has their tier 1 tower up, like you're restricted as a team really to play a lot of a restricted part of the map. like we're really playing like by our tier 2 mid and this triangle really, whereas the enemy team have their jungle, their triangle, and our jungle as well really, and that's just kind of the fact of the matter is that we don't have this tower bot. But we're just pressuring it, which is good, and I help try and rotate down with her. I've got my relic now as well, which is nice, and obviously in terms of like my positioning really is that like I want to be playing as a Spectre. Like I think one of the nice thing about Spectre actually is that he reminds me of kind of like a carry version of IO, in the sense that like you can play as far away from your team but still be able to contribute. So like your positioning as a Spectre is really kind of important, where like you want to be where your team isn't, but also where the enemy team isn't as well, because you always just have the haunt in. So it's like you have this kind of ability like IO where you can be anywhere on the map at any time, basically, as long as you have the ulti. So it's really important that you kind of really try and stretch the enemy team. So I've just picked up my Radiance there. I TP back because I don't know, like the slider was moving out of vision. We had no vision over here, so I'm going to start running top now. Again, try and stretch the enemy team and take benefit of me being a Spectre and obviously me having Haunt, basically. So my team can kind of clump, look for pick-offs, look for opportunities, while I'm putting pressure on as far as the side of the map. And the only way you can really stop this happening is if the enemy team gank me as 5, because if they gank me as 1 or 2 or 3, then I can haunt in and set up things with my team. Instead, my team kind of end up getting picked off, and I look at this scenario, realise it's not worth haunting in, so I play top, still trying to pressure top, trying to force a reaction. My idea really is that, I mean, they're 10k up obviously on net worth, so they're really high. So I don't want to give them the opportunity just to group up and take team fights, because if they do, they're most likely going to win whether I haunt in or not. So I'm having to try and push up top. So my understanding here really is that it's risky, obviously, because I'm playing by myself, but like I said, they either have to gate me as 5 or I can haunt, hopefully, before they catch me, and then join up with my team and hopefully try and catch stragglers that are like lingering in our jungle without the protection of their whole team. And it's the right mentality, but I execute it actually wrong. So I know they're still kind of bot. I'm still trying to force a reaction. Back here, the perfect scenario is kind of like the same way you play anti-mage as well, where you pressure a tower, someone TP's in, you then TP back to your team, fight 5 versus 4 if one of the enemy teams TP top, for example. Then you have the advantage of some kind of trade. You know, and that's what I'm trying to do, but they're not sort of taking the bait per se. Tier 1, tier 2 towers are really difficult. So right here, immediately when I get rooted here by CM, I have to assume that there's going to be follow-up on me. And because this isn't a pro-level game, I can assume they're not 5 on top of me, even though they could be, because they're not showing on vision. But I have to bank that they're not. So what I need to do right now is I need to haunt. Hopefully there's 1 or 2 of the enemy team in the triangle, and then my team can immediately rotate, help me in the triangle. We mop up people in the triangle. Instead, I'm slow. I try and dagger. CM then ultis me, Slider comes in, and by the time I've already haunted, I'm already like 1/3 HP. And my read is correct. There is 1 or 2 people in the jungle here, but the problem is that when I rotate in here, I'm already low enough. I already have amp damage on me, and my team aren't really in a position to help me kind of set up a kill. Because obviously, if they're in a it's twofold as well. I mean, first of all, it's bad enough for me because I should immediately haunt the moment I get frostbitten, instead I take loads of unnecessary damage. But the moment they see that, I didn't communicate with my team either, I guess. They can't be mind readers per se, but if they had the right mentality, the moment they see me getting jumped top, they should immediately smoke or run to the triangle here, because that's the mentality I should be having, is to be haunting into them, back to my team, basically. But instead, I took too much damage. I do eventually get here. My tusk is a little bit late, and as a result, I get caught out by just the life stealer. So kind of a shame. I think that was really the only play I had. I mean, I was 12k net. Our team was 12k net worth down. We had to play aggressive. We had to do something right. But it was just. Oh, hopefully that hasn't. I pulled out my headphones. Hopefully you can still hear me. Hello. I think we're good. Yeah, I'll have to make kind of some kind of aggressive move, really, because you're not going to really win games playing passive, basically. So it's looking really, really rough. But spoiler alert, we win this game. So this kind of shows the strength of Spectre, really. And funny enough, we actually get a disruptor actually leaves, so we end up playing 4 versus 5. So this whole game looks terrible, but we end up doing quite well overall. And this kind of scenario here was quite nice, really. Like, so obviously, even though this was a while ago, like the CM was still top. Or in the top region kind of thing. So we see an opportunity in bot, and this is kind of gets us back into the game. They fight 3 versus 5, and this is kind of the help we really needed to get back into this game kind of thing. So we kill the Slardar as well as the Lifestealer because they're out of position, and then they want to fight 3 versus 5 again. And we get a nice shackle onto the Brood. And we kill the Broodmother as well, which was pretty cool. We lose the Tusk and the Disruptor, but we kill obviously all of their cores, and we kill the Rubik as well. So a big turnaround altogether in the end. And yeah, so now instead of being a 15k net worth down, we're at 11k instead. I'm going to open the window because I'm boiling hot. And yeah, so now we have an opportunity to kind of slowly get a foothold into this game. So I'm obviously finished my Radiance now as well, a reason why I kind of wanted to take a fight. And obviously I've got the level 15 talent. I think level 10, I think stats and health regen are both useful. I think stats is slightly better, though, because you don't necessarily need the plus 5 HP regen when you're jungling, but it can be useful. As for level 15, I think the Spectre Dagger cooldown is a must, really. I've talked about the problems of Spectre, where you struggle. Wait, let me just go back. Just talk about this quickly. I think you kind of struggle to stick on targets if you don't get this Spectre Dagger cooldown talent, because otherwise it's 8 seconds now, but before it's obviously 16. So the duration is only 7 seconds. So once that Spectre Dagger is out off of a target, you have no way of gap closing, really. So I think the 15 talent is really, really important. And I'm building obviously a Manta as well to dispel kind of the crap from CM, as well as the Slardar amp damage as well. So again, this is kind of shows the strength of Spectre, really. So Broodmother is still dead from the last fight. I'm playing away from my team, and when I see an opportunity like this, I'm instantly going to TB in, because I know whatever fight happens, it's going to work well, because Brood didn't have time to really rotate and reset, really. As a result, we end up killing the Slardar, we kill the CM, and we kill the Rubik as well. So again, we kind of halved our net worth deficit from 15 to 8k or so. And now I have my Manta as well. So we're slowly crawling back into this game, which is good. So in terms of neutral items, obviously any kind of stat related ones are really, really useful, because the bulkier you are, the more effective your dispersion can be, and the better farming speed you can get and stuff. I end up holding the Van Brace for farming speed, but I think actually in a pure kind of team fight sense, I think perhaps the Pupil's Gift, the apple, is probably slightly better, just because of you benefit from both the strength and the intelligence, really, because you have struggles with mana issues, really, but the 13 strength is really nice. But because I'm farming most of the time, I chose to have the Van Brace. And Mindbreaker is nice, but again, I kind of value stats more so than that. And obviously, my Mancer illusions and my Horn illusions don't get the Mindbreaker benefit, so it's not mega value on my hero. Or it can be good to kind of horn into supports, instantly silence them, and set up kills. But I'm looking for hopefully something different from the tier 3. So again, we're just kind of getting pick off slowly but surely. Again, a nice kind of thing of Spectre playing against Broodmother is that you kind of, if you get a dagger onto him, then you can sort of see him wherever he goes, which is the reason why we ended up killing him here. this is the tier 3 item I was kind of looking for. I think Paladin's Sword is nice in this game because there's going to be a lot of scenarios where I'm manning up against people. Like Lifesteal wants to man up to get his lifesteal back. So does the Brood with her ulti. So at least with this I can kind of go toe to toe. But I think generally, I think the Titan Sliver is probably the best on Spectre just because it makes you more tanky. Magic Resist has a lot of value with your dispersion as well. Plus, because you're building a lot of stats normally after your Radiance, the base damage you get from damage amp you get from the Sliver is overall pretty nice. But Paladin Sword is okay in this game as well. So, got my Manta now as well. Good thing obviously about this is now I'm kind of wanting to use Manta off cooldown for the most part. Although it's important really to have Haunt into a fight and then immediately use Mana, so then you can get obviously like big Desolate procs off with the Manta Illusion. But at the same time, because I have Radiance, Manta Illusion, or just having Manta in general is really nice just to push up waves and farm jungle as well, kind of really maximise my farm. That's kind of the normal scenario you'll see it, where I push one wave with my hero, and then the next wave is a little bit risky, so I push it off with my Manta Illusions, go back to farm the jungle, and kind of maximise my farm that way. So, I'm looking to build Abyssal Blade because right now I look at sort of CM and Rubik and I think like they're kind of just free food whenever I haunt into. We saw Rubik bottom. He TP'd in. We catch the Broodmother, and again this is just kind of the good thing about Spectre. Obviously in this scenario there. I saw that my team was going on the Broodmother, and immediately I know that I can catch some of the backline as well, and that's why I'm building into Abyssal Blade as well, because that's just going to make my job even easier to instantly destroy a support. Haunt in, kill a support, and then hopefully haunt back onto the rest of the team fight is how my understanding and my mentality is going into it. Plus, the Abyssal Blade is quite actually nice because of the Vanguard proc from the Spider Illusions. It just makes the spiders do absolutely no damage to me, which is kind of a nice thing as well. So I start obviously bringing in my Basher now. We have Aegis as well, so we want to be kind of pressuring the tower. Brood's still dead. A small thing as well, but you've seen me really utilize the mangoes from our mango tree. Just really important that whenever like most carries use a lot of mana and they don't really have the items to kind of build into mana regeneration. So it's really important that whenever you are either currying items to yourself, is that you just kind of tab back to the mango tree, pick up all the mangoes, and then just deliver it to you, because it makes a big difference, honestly, and it's a small thing to remember. So Squap is jungling at the moment when we have Aegis, and we're looking to fight if they have any resistance on this tier 2 tower. I mean, in an ideal scenario, Quap is behind us, and if they try and resist, they're actually trying to resist, we just kill them all. But instead, Quap is farming jungle for no reason, basically. And we have to commit kind of heavily onto the Wind Ranger. Commit heavily onto the Slardar. As a result, Disruptor has to get out of position to get the glimpse off, and immediately it's a 1 versus 1. And I mean, Quap's here now, but I mean her impact is kind of minimal for the most part. And then she ults, but Brood's back. I kind of probably overcommit onto the tier 3 as well, but overall it's just kind of bad from everyone there, and I'm gonna die twice as well because I'm on high ground. And Quap's like not even wanting to help, so it's kind of like, well. But overall, it's kind of bad, but we have kind of brought the game kind of back to even, until that moment really, for the most part. Because we were at 15k down, but we're kind of slowly getting back into it. Losing the Aegis there. I mean, ideally we just want to take the tier 2s and kind of take all the tier 2s, really control map control. And if our team's playing as 5, they can do that. And there's no way the enemy team can really defend the tier 2, because if they do, we'll fight them and we should win because we have the Aegis advantage. Fighting into their high ground is a bit different story because it's a lot difficult with vision and positioning, for example. But if they're fighting on the low ground, on the tier 2, it's a lot easier for us to win a fight in general. So Queen of Pain is bald. That's because of probably me moulding so much about this Queen of Pain, but it is what it is. Cop has to. We were saying that Cop's playing her own games. She's playing Tetris. No outright flame, but just a little bit of passive aggressiveness goes a long way, I think. So in that scenario there, like I was building into my Abyssal, kind of for the mentality I've had, like, I'm just going to ult, kill support, haunt back. But because, as you can see there, like both the Life Stealer and... Wait, let me just go back. I forgot this happens. Because I know that the Brood and the Life Stealer can man up me with their Life Steal, I decided to start building into Skadi. Skadi's been kind of buffed twice now for the last 2 patches. The last patch was that Ultimate Orbs got reduced, so overall Skadi got reduced in cost, but also, more importantly in this game, is that it's the health regen. By 40% reduction. So for a hero like Lifestealer that relies a lot on lifesteal, I mean his name is Lifestealer, as well as Brood obviously were her ulti as well. With Skadi I have an ability to kind of man up, plus I have lifesteal for myself with the Paladin sword, so I decide to build into Skadi instead of the Abyssal. Plus the Abyssal is nice obviously, but it's a lot of build up for not a lot of stats really, and we talk about stats really. So immediately I get gone on here, and the same mentality is what happened before. Where, okay, like if I get gone on, I have to immediately haunt, in the hope that either I cause confusion and chaos in the ongoing fight here, like right immediately, or that say if I can kind of connect closer to my team, then I can haunt into that person. Obviously in this case there's no one there, but my haunt immediately gives vision and sees that Lifestealer and Rubik are nowhere to be seen, and neither is the Brood as well. So right now I see that, okay, right, all I need to do now is kind of man up on the starter, because I know that I can man up, I have Paladin Sword, but also that I'm not going to get gone on by anyone else. And with that, we get 2 kills for free basically, because they wanted to go on me without anyone else with me. So obviously I set my magic wand, pick up an ultimate orb because it just gives more stats. Rubik shows top, he's used blink, I use haunt, I used dagger to sort of see him, and my team is able to kind of sneak around, and we catch the Rubik as well actually. So kind of a kill after kill after kill, which is kind of what you'll see normally in well, in most games, but in kind of the, yeah, just in most games I guess really, in the sense that after you get 1 kill, you'll look for any engagement you can, because you know that you have the advantage if they try and fight you all together. So in this case, obviously, Rubik is a free kill. If we can catch him, we do. And now the 2 kills turns into 3. And then the tier 2 tower as well. So when I saw this happen, when I saw the Wind Ranger get Illusionist Cape, I knew immediately we had a chance to win this game. This item on Spectre is probably the best item to hero combination in the game. Because obviously it gets the Dispersion talent, it gets the Desolate talent, it has Radiance already, and it is just so fantastic. I can use it to push out waves, I can push it to man up. I mana off obviously the amp damage. We're looking to kind of fight for the most part. I end up kind of trading here for the Brood Mother. And I don't really know what goes wrong too much in this fight actually. I'm kind of curious to kind of go back. Because right now, like, it's 5 versus 3, 5 versus 4 eventually, obviously when CM comes back. And right now, oh, this is it, yeah. So like right now, there's only 3 of them on the team right now. Because CM is still dead. So I end up haunting, and I just think, like, why is my team not just blinking, shackling onto the Brood, onto one of his spiderlings, and why is the Tusk not jumping in, just punching this guy immediately? Because if he shows here, like, and he's by his tower, he immediately dies. But instead, like, he's back here now, like, and it's a bit deeper. The Disruptor ulti is kind of wasted. So, you know, I guess I end up dying, I guess, but it's one of those things. We do trade the Brood Mother as well, so that's alright, I guess. But in an ideal scenario, we just end up killing the Brood Mother instantly here. Like, if he just blink punches him and then into a shackle, he just dies. But you know, what can you do? So we trade the Brood Mother for me. But yeah, like Disruptor ends up dying just on the high ground, but he bites back, forces them to rethink. They lose the Rubik in the pursuing chase, and I'm pinging Roche because Rubik is dead. I just kind of want to get something happening basically. ITP because I thought we had the outpost, but we get it captured just before. It's kind of a small thing really, but obviously experience in this late of the game is important for supports really, to get like level 20 talents and such like really. So I'm using obviously like, so now I don't even need my Manta to kind of push up waves. I have my Illusionist Cape to do it as well basically. Kind of what I do here, kind of just Illusionist Cape, and just kind of, you want to be using this on cooldown really, a lot off cooldown. Right now I'm thinking like, why is my team not just jumping? Like Rubik's dead, we just need a jump from Tusk or Wind Ranger, and I can just Spectre Haunt in, and then we just kind of blow him up. But instead we use Glimpse, we use like all the crap, and now Rubik's already up. It's kind of a bad initiation for the most part really, just kind of pretty poor. I end up buying my Scarding now. And I'm kind of, again, just using the Illusionist Cape to instantly go out. This is the jump I was kind of waiting for. We immediately blow up the Broodmother, and then Rubik bites back. We killed the Slardar as well. I'm just trying to bash the CM, and the Rubik bites back as well as the Slardar. This Lifestealer man's up there, and I didn't have my Mana Illusions to get rid of his open wounds. And as a result, didn't work too well. Again, like some of these. So what happens now? Like, okay, yeah. So that unfortunately I just didn't have Manta Illusion to get rid of the open wounds, and allowed the Lifesteal to really man up against me. Discardo was useful, but against open wounds as well as his natural Lifesteal was just a bit too much really. A Lotus Orb would be really nice actually for that reason alone, from like one of the sports. But it was good for the most part. They end up buying back on 2, but we end up buying back on Wind Ranger, who then just died and died back immediately. So they end up getting Roche. I am looking to go back for the Abyssal Blade because hopefully I can kill one of the backliners. Like Rubik has Yules, but if I can catch him before Yules, then I can kill the CM, because even though he is BKB, I have Basher and Abyssal, so I can just kill the CM immediately. So that's my next item. They're just trying to de-push as much as I can while I'm back. Again, I'm just using my illusion off of cooldown. It's really, really important, really. It has no mana cost, and it's just there to be used. And on a hero like Spectre, as I've said many, many times, just be spamming it. Mana illusions can be a little bit more cautious, because I've said before about open wounds and about the extra damage into Haunt. But I don't really need to use my Mana Illusions to push out waves or farm now, because I have the Illusionist Cape to do anyway. So immediately, obviously we're just, in this point, we're waiting for Wind Ranger to come back. But now I'm going to try and push up a lane top. Again, because that's what you're going to be doing as Spectre, farming away from your team. We see the Slardar there, we catch the Rubik. I immediately know that the Rubik's dead, and I jump onto the Crystal Maiden immediately. I'm a little bit isolated from my team, so it's not ideal. I end up buying back, but I don't have Haunt. I think probably the problem was actually is right now when I Haunt, I should really Haunt onto the Brood or the Slardar here. And this is really all just about positioning, really, because my team are like, imagine this almost like chess, really, or really about like trenches or rows, in the sense that if I jump on the CM now, obviously they're going to kill the Rubik, but then they also need to get past the Broodmother and the Slardar in terms of just from a distance point of view. So, for example, like when I jump on the CM right now, the first people that are going to join me is actually the Slardar and the Broodmother instead of my team. Whereas if I jump onto the Brood or the Slardar, then maybe I can slow them down and let my team catch up and go on them. Instead, I jump on the CM here, she gets an ulti off, and I'm kind of, although I do kill the CM, I'm kind of committed. And like right now, obviously, like again, as I said, the Slardar and the Brood are the first people to catch me, basically. Snowball save wasn't possible because they had both big bid. So I buy back. I know that this is a fight I kind of we want to be taking really if we can. And they end up kind of being slowed quite heavily, and they're still trying to commit. They should just back off really for the most part, but I immediately meant that the amp damage. We killed a Slardar. I see the Brood up there. I kind of want to ping on the Brood, but I see that Lifestealer's getting done by the Tusk. He misses that shard. If he hits that shard, we kind of have be in a really good position, but he misses the shard. And now our buyback's probably not worth it for the most part, because yes, we killed the Slardar, but what does that actually do for the most part? So we have to get more than just a starter kill, so I end up trying to push Brax here. With kind of 2 dead, we think it's a possibility. Broodmother is the perfect target really, doesn't have the Aegis, and we have all our kind of lockdown and people behind him as well. CM's alive, we commit onto the Lifestealer, commit onto the CM, and right now is the perfect time for everyone to kind of jump in and get involved here really. They buy back on a CM. I mean, if he has Hex and everything, and I think he just goes in there really. Oh, he has big EV. Yeah, maybe it's close. But he ends up killing the Lifestealer anyway afterwards, which is good. And then he gets away as well, just about with 20 HP. So kind of decent. Lifestealers, that death on the Lifestealer is really important though, because if Lifestealer doesn't die actually, I'm dead for 90 seconds without buyback, and then they can kind of just push. But with Lifestealer and me being kind of similar, death time is actually, it allows us not to lose racks over it. So again, I'm just finishing off the Abyssal Blade. Just the extra bit of stun is just useful to as I've been building for it for a while now. But also I'm looking to build into Satanic. You're seeing there's a lot of scenarios now that even though I have the Scardy, I no longer have the Paladin sword, and I need a way to just man up. And this is the point where our Disruptor just says he has to go and just like literally AFKs for the whole game here. And so it's not looking great. You know, we're 5k down. But you know, this is Spectre in the late game. I have a Abyssal Blade now. I've just eventually got time to farm it instead of just pure fight. Again, using my Illusion Escape as much as possible. I have a Abyssal Blade now, and we're just trying to look for opportunities really, and the Rubik top is an opportunity. Obviously, we'd like to have been if there was more, like if there was people more around the Rubik as well, we could have got like a +2, but instead we killed the Rubik. But his death timer is similar to my Haunt, which is really like a massive part of the team fight really. So we end up just kind of using it to farm. You know, there's bounty runes, and that's kind of fine. You know, we don't want to force things too much. We don't know if Rubik has buyback. And Roche isn't up either, so there's not much we can really do. But you can see with that one death, we do get like most of the map, which is quite nice. Helps me closing in on the Satanic. Our Quap kind of dies. I mean, he shouldn't be playing that far away. If there's anyone to be playing away, it should be me with Haunt, but he ends up dying here. You know, there's no vision, and he's nowhere near any of our team as well, so he kind of dies, which is kind of really bad. Because Rubik's going to be up, Roche is going to be up soon as well, and Quap's dead for 70 seconds. So I'm just kind of, again, trying to keep lanes pushed in, and kind of looking for opportunities, really, in the sense that Quap does have buyback, so there's that. So Windranger starts off, gets a nice immediate kill, and gets out, and I kind of sit here kind of almost trying to bait because I know that Quap has buyback and we're 4 versus 4 really, or 4 versus 3 before Quap's buyback because again Disruptor's still AFK top. But it's a really nice snowball save, kites out the BKBs. I haunt, we jump on the lifesteal immediately dies, and then we can carry on the Brood as well straight after, and then we kill the Slardar as well. Lifesteal buys back for nothing, and it's just really nice execution really, and our spells kind of just hit off well, which is really good. So now we can get Roche for free. Looking back on it now, I don't have buyback because of gold, but probably I should give it to Quap because he doesn't have buyback because of the Disruptor obviously abandons there. Quap should really be taking it because I can get the gold eventually, but Quap should just have the Aegis. But I'm going to obviously be the one on the front lines. I have the Refresher Orb as well, and I think actually in this scenario I should probably be holding Satanic instead of Refresher Orb, because what I want to do is obviously haunt, commit onto and be as aggressive as possible, die, stop Refresher in, and then haunt again. And if I don't die once, then you know I don't necessarily need the Refresher. Plus I can pull it out if I need to. But I think it's better to hold the Satanic than have the opportunity for 2 haunts really. So Slardar buys back again for kind of nothing. We just kind of reset, and they're all coming back alive. We don't need to take the fight just yet. So far, the reason why things are going really well is because we're getting good initiations, and we're executing our team fight well. But it's a lot harder to execute team fights well into their base than anything else. Obviously, without boots, I'm like super slow. But I have to keep Illusionist Cape. So I look to kind of build into Ags. Again, it gives me ability to kind of stick on targets, and it's just a nice item to have, and I have the luxury to do it. I could probably sell my treads and sell my drums. I eventually put my Satanic in because I just realised it, because I'm hoping I'm going to die with using Haunt, come back alive, obviously after Aegis, then reuse Refresher and stuff. So I see the Broodmother here, and this is kind of where I just want to instantly take a fight. And I'm trying to tank as much spells as I can, but my team's kind of killing everyone in the back. And with that, again, huge fight. Brood buys back, they all start buying back, and immediately we get a nice shack on the Lifestealer. We kill the Brood as well, and ladies and gentlemen, that's how you win a 4 versus 5 when you're 15k down. And look at all their salty tears. You love to see it. You really love to see it. So obviously, just quickly talking about the talents, I forgot to mention level 20. I think you have to go 400 HP. It's just so value with your dispersion. The Spectre Dagger slow is really nice, but you don't really need it because you have the -8 Spectre Daggers. So you have ways of kind of closing gaps, and then obviously the +5 dispersion is broken basically. It's a lot better than the 32% Haunt Illusion. And I think that's it, guys. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like, a subscribe, comment, all that jazz. Just helps with the algorithm and stuff, and it will help pandas in Africa, if pandas live in Africa. I don't know, I'm lying now, but anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed it. I hope to see you in the next one. Till then, keep keyboarding and grinding. Peace.